I don't hear all these bad politicians then we call themselves politicians.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Mayegun number one.
Good afternoon to you, good morning to you, good evening to you from wherever you're watching from. And this is Mayegun Live. Thank you for joining me. It's been a while. I am starting tonight, I'm starting early tonight so that we can have enough time to catch up at the same time, possibly get, to take some calls. So if you are joining me live, you're welcome.
Mayegun Diary political. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun Diary. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣe o kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Read the caption, share the broadcast, invite others and let them know that Mayegun today, share the broadcast.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Thank you.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Thank you so much for joining me. So tonight, I am going to start, normally we're going to go into the drama of the APC, Egbekegbe convention. And the reason why we are giving them that kind of a close marking, checking, is because we told those who are our own brothers and sisters that this Project Nigeria is a charade that, except for those who probably are just benefiting from it, a lot from it, except for those, nobody should be clamoring for one Nigeria if they understand how disjointed, how unfair it is for them as a people, right? So the reason why we are now giving them the close marking is because they told us that they had the last shot at it before they can decide if Nigeria is done for or if Nigeria is redeemable. We know that they want to buy time, just not for the Yoruba people, but for the selfish few who will probably eat from the crumbs of what Tinubu has to offer. Now, it seems that that journey of swagger, as they call it, is a journey of Belshboshilo Loshebo, BLLB. However, I am coming back to that drama, because it's getting interesting now. I appreciate that somebody said I should use a lot of vitamins. I get that. What I actually need to do is to eat a lot of semo, and catfish. So if I feel myself, if I fill myself up with that in the next couple of days, it's because I've not had the time. I've really been unwell, right? However, don't worry about the vitamins. I know the kind of vitamins I'm going to take, which is semo and my catfish. Give it a week or two. You probably will be able to say, well, Mayegun, what kind of vitamins are you using now? Or, But we'll be fine. So thank you very much. So I picked something before we come back to the drama. Yes, the drama of APC, Egbekegbe in Abuja today. The implosion of APC. I told you that APC, Egbekegbe, was put together by strange bedfellows. Strange bedfellows who wanted the power, and APC, Egbekegbe, is the vehicle. Now, they've achieved that. They've divided Nigeria, and rather than make it official, the same APC, Egbekegbe, is what they said Tinubu would use to possibly further bury Nigeria. I don't know what that would be, but whatever that dream is coming to a close, right? But I picked something up that I actually want to read to you. This is going to take time. But I love the open letter. Somebody dropped an open letter. I don't know when it was written. I don't know the writer, but I'm glad the writer's name is on it. But this writer wrote this open letter to Tinubu for the last time, before it is completely too late. Lagos Awobakus, Oshogbo Alemajiris, the humbled slaves, obedient fools, and the sophisticated morons. Call them to come close. They should come close by. You see the wordings in this letter. I want you to listen attentively. I'm going to read them word for word. And for the record, the writer shall be acknowledged as, you know what I mean? So let me see if I can pick that up here. Let's start from that, and then we'll see those who will join us later. So the name of the writer of this open letter to Tinubu is Silas Ho Abayomi and Mao, the two names, as the two signatories, I believe, or maybe one signatory with an extra name. Silas, Mr. Silas, Omo Yoruba Tata, if you are watching me, just know that your work got my attention, and I want my own friends to hear about you and this beautiful piece that you decided to share publicly, to call the attention of Tinubu to do the right thing for the last time before it is too late for the Yoruba people. So if you are joining me or just joining me, this is the open letter, the first part of this conversation. Before we go to the drama parts, the interesting part you will say, but this one too is quite interesting. Open your ears and just listen. Yeah? Right. Mr. No, well, it actually started with, I'll be kind of using my own, mixture just to make it more interesting and quite interesting to listen to. I don't want it to be boring. My dear Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, greetings. I write this letter to you not as a politician, because I am not one. Neither will I be, but as a student of Nigerian political history, who have seen so much in body polity, the good, bad, and ugly of Nigeria contemporary history. I write this letter to draw your attention to every time mistake politicians from Southern. I'll take that again. I write this letter to draw your attention to every time mistake politicians from Southern Nigeria, particularly Yorubas, who claim to be more debonair, cosmopolitan, intellectually sagacious, make in their unholy alliance with axis of evil, a mafia, and a cabal that had prevented Nigeria to rise above crawling baby since independence in 1960. This group, from their dark inner concave, continuously use suspecting, unsuspecting, committed nationalists, harmless and willing souls like you to grab power. Power they always abuse. More important, use against their benefactors once the sword is in their hand. As a Yoruba man with so much knowledge on Yoruba historical past, without being immodest, I think it will be to your interest to learn from history. Retract your steps where possible. Seek forgiveness where necessary. Then begin a new journey with those of like mind, not for today, but for your tomorrow, in capital letter. Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There are 5 historical antecedents this long letter will share and draw your attention to. Please do not ignore, but choose the pathway of wisdom. Never succumb to pride, but humble yourself to amend where and when necessary. Number 1 event, Aláàfin Arógangan, Aole, and Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Àfọ̀njá, Ìlọrin, and Yoruba 200 years after. About 200 years ago in 1815 at Ìlọrin, old Oyo Empire, northern frontier, an incident happened which changed the dynamics of Yoruba political system forever. Afonja, the son of Alugbin, son of Pasin, son of Laderin, became the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò and Viceroy of Ilorin. Viceroy office started with his great-grandfather, Laderin, the appointee of Aláàfin Ajiboyede. From available records, Afonja is loved, respected by his 70-man Eshors, adored and venerated by Ilorin, surrounding towns, villages, and communities. However, after investiture, Afonja's interests shifted from the chief security officer to political leadership, resulting in rivalry, distrust between Aláàfin Haule and Afonja. The rivalry was so intense that Aláàfin Haule commissioned Afonja to undertake an impossible, perhaps a suicide mission, attack on Iwere-Ile, the maternal home of Aláàfin Ajiboyede. Out of anger and frustration, Afonja commenced a bitter war against Aláàfin Haule with the help of a Fulani sojourn, Malam Alimi, who had just moved from Kuwo, a suburb of Ilorin, in a deal facilitated by Sholagberu, a longtime friend of Afonja. Oyo Igboho was destroyed beyond repairs. Thousands killed, homes and properties destroyed by the rampaging Afonja Alimi soldiers. Afonja became de facto lord as Oyo laid in ruins and Yoruba nation dislocated. Even though the lion roared from Ilorin, the forest refused to be still. Within months, a payback time arrived. Alimi's unruly soldiers, or Jama, became a menace to Ilorin residents, just like today's Fulani, Bororoje herdsmen. Afonja was helpless, and in this confused state, Alimi conspired against his benefactor, Afonja. Shortly, he was assassinated. I hope you are following that. This is something you probably have heard before. I'm gonna try to hold you spellbound because I don't know how my voice sounds to you. I hope you are following. Afonja's home carefully exterminated by Alimi. Okay, I think I'll start from here. Yes. Afonja's home carefully exterminated by Alimi. His soldiers, sectional warlords, and supporters massacred in succession. By 1817, when Alimi died, Yoruba had lost Ilorin to the Fulanis. By 1823, Ilorin became one of the 14 emirates under Usman Danfodio, the Futajalon Fulani man who had overrun the entire Hausa states from Gobir to the western border of Kanem Borno Empire on pretext of religious piety. Any lesson from his account? Can we see the price of greed, thirst for political power on Afonja, Ilorin, and the entire Yoruba nation? Afonja suffered a double jeopardy. He lost the anticipated extensive power and Ilorin. Sad to say, 200 years after, Yoruba is yet to recover. Is there no similar trend in Yorubaland at present? Number 2 event. The number 2 event. Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Kurumi of Ijaye. One-man riot, it was called. Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Kurumi of Ijaye. One-man riot. One of the major problems military attack on Oyo created was the destruction of towns, villages, and communities, resulting in humanitarian crisis. With Oyo gone, Iresa, Ikoyi, and many more to follow. Establishing new towns and communities became a necessity. Among the new towns were Ibadan in the east, Ijaye in the west. Ijaye came under the mighty hand of Kurumi, the most powerful Yoruba political figure in mid-19th century. Kurumi was so powerful that everyone feared him. Kurumi cared for nobody. His concern was power and political survival. Forgetting there was tomorrow, Kurumi built himself but failed to build Ijaye. Kurumi created a kingdom but failed to empower Ijaye kingdom for tomorrow's survival. Kurumi fought everybody from Alaafin Atiba to Adelu. He engaged in supremacy battle with Basharun Oluyole and Ogunmola of Ibadan. He terrorized Oke-Ogun region, especially towns around Shaki under Okere. Since he was not satisfied on how Alaafin Atiba resolved the matter before he died, Kurumi declared war shortly after Alaafin Adelu was crowned. Thanks to Ibadan war machine under Basharun Ogunmola, which routed Kurumi Ijaye Egba Alliance forces, when Kurumi saw the direction of the war, that he was running against time, Kurumi committed suicide and Ijaye was destroyed by Ibadan army. And you can find this on the Yorupedia, that is www.yorupedia.com, the Ijaye War. You can read that. Today, nothing is left on Ijaye soil other than mods, ruins from yesterday's attack, thick forests, and fallowed land, dwelling place of wild animals, reptiles, and nightjars. Lesson: there is danger pursuing inordinate ambition. Seeking power beyond every reasonable limit backfire. An excessive or extreme power is a gunpowder with potential to explode anytime, and possibility of destroying whoever possesses it. Kurumi's excessive power eventually became his undoing and albatross. Is there no trend in Yorubaland today? Number 3 events. Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the 1962 to 1966 Western Region crisis. This is another interesting one. Event number 3, in an open letter to Tinubu, if he is ever going to read it, and if the Lagos Abobakus, the Oshogbo Alemajiris, if they are also willing to learn from history, he who failed to learn from history is bound to fail. Yeah, he who failed to learn from history is bound to repeat the same mistake, which is the failure of history. Lesson 3. There is danger pursuing inordinate ambition. Well, okay, I've talked about lesson 3. I'm going to talk about, lesson 2. That's number 3 events. Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the 1962-1966 Western Region crisis. Alhaji Bola Tinubu, you are very conversant with 1962 Western Region crisis. which began with the arrest, detention, trial, and imprisonment of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. The dark, remember, the dark forces of 1815, which treacherously took Ilorin, are still interested in overrunning Yorubaland. Regardless of several pushbacks, beginning with Oshogbo military adventure of 1840s by Ibadan under Basharun Oluyole, even with Fulani's defeat at Oshogbo, they had not given up because Yorubaland is a prized property they wanted. However, Awolowo's superior politics combined with Yoruba unequal civilization made their quests impossible. For more than 50 years, they had devised several means, mainly political persecution. Chief Obafemi Awolowo and lieutenants were the first pioneer victims. The fate that late Chief MKO Abiola suffered afterward as well. Awolowo's project became the Dark Forces mission to conquer West under code name Destroy Awolowo. Temporarily, the project worked. Chief Awolowo was tormented, taunted, humiliated, disrobed politically, and caged. The enemies were happy that they succeeded. After all, Yoruba leader was in jail. Regardless, Chief Awolowo refused to partner with darkness, refused any association with evil, more so placed Yoruba interest above personal desires. Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where is the Awolowo of modern times? Where are the generations of Awolowo's disciples? Where are the banner carriers in Yorubaland? Where are the Yoruba interest fighters, defenders, and promoters? Where is this day Tai Sholari? Where is 2016 Gani Oyefeso of Aweyimi? Where is the physician turned human rights fighter Dr. Beck Kolori Ransom Kuti? Where are the Socrates in Yorubaland? Where are the plateaus in the land of Oodua? Where is Cicero? Is Esaoke tired of giving Yorubaland another Cicero? Now, event number 4. Late Basharun MKO Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola from National Party of Nigeria, NPN, to June 12, 1993. Late Basharun Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola needs no introduction, a man of extraordinary and unusual intellectual ability. My generation came to know Chief MKO Abiola from 1978, when the ban on political activities was lifted. National Party of Nigeria and Unity Party of Nigeria were formed. Chief Abiola became the foundation pillar and support that NPN rested upon. Abiola labored, invested, worked, and contributed to make National Party big and great. From Lagos to Ibadan, Jos, Kaduna, Kano, Maiduguri, Port Harcourt, back to Lagos, it was MKO. Unfortunately, MKO became a victim of no vacancy for Southern presidential candidates when the late Alhaji Umaru Dikko, ultra-conservatives representatives during 1983 presidential nomination race, said, "Presidency is not for sale." As a true son of Oodua, late Chief MKO Abiola made immediate U-turn by resigning his membership from NPN. More important, humbly sought forgiveness from those he had wronged, particularly Chief Obafemi Awolowo. So the lesson here is that at times, someone may be on a wrong course, route, or place, or someone keeping bad friendship. But as soon as one discovers, correction must follow immediately and no reason to wait. Abiola did exactly so for another 10 years, 1983 to 1993. Abiola underwent a political rebirth from a pupil politician to a national hero, which explained his second coming as a favored and most loved Nigerian politician expressed on June 12, 1993. Although it did not, I'm going to skip that. So let's go to the number 5 event. Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu and contribution to Buhari presidency. This is Tinubu's own lesson now. It is always said the best experience in life is the personal experience. There is no doubt. As a politician and major player in this political dispensation, you have helped enthrone 4 Nigerians as presidents, particularly General Muhammadu Buhari, who had run for 3 unsuccessful times, and his born to rule mantra could not do the magic. It is on record. You pulled resources, mobilized full soldiers, used social, political, and cultural connections to sell Buhari as a political product to Nigerians. In fact, General Buhari's arrogance and apolitical outlook would have made him lose to another candidate, Atiku Abubakar, and then compelled him retire to Daura. But you saved him. Even though his Hausa Fulani brethren will tell a different story, that Buhari won on his merits, not through your contribution and support. Even in the past 15 months, I've shown that Hausa Fulani used and dumped you. Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you have become the proverbial sugarcane Buhari and co sucked and then disposed the chaff, you have become a granite or a kernel shell. Once the seed is out, the shell is of no use. Alhaji Tinubu, if care is not taken, you may soon become a fire booster, what Yoruba calls a son. Before it gets to that point, you need to act fast. Oh, hang on. Fire booster, what is fire booster? A son? No, a son. Before it gets to that point, you need to act fast, just as Abiola wisely did some 33 years ago by resigning from NPN. You should bid all People's Congress, APC, the party of strange bedfellows, goodbye. Never be carried away by your poison antidotes. You may suffer multiple bites from these vipers, leading to incremental poison, which may render your antidote ineffective. Advice and conclusion. Alhaji Bola Tinubu, you are no longer a novice to Nigerian politics. After all, you are a master. Neither are Hausa Fulani politics strange to you. Hausa Fulani are power hungry, power thirsty, and can go any length in pursuit of it to sustain their parasitic social and economic life. Because of their greed and penchant for power, they are not ready to share power with anyone, even if you share same faith and beliefs with them, or holier than them. My advice to you is to follow a pathway of wisdom. Leave this club of darkness. Reconcile with those you had wronged in your political journey. Afenifere, Yoruba Council of Elders, your former deputies, political sons and daughters, which you may need in the future. Finally, go and create a new coalition with this primitive, outdated and old-fashioned 6th century sheikh-like system may find too sophisticated to challenge. And then blah, 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 blah after that. So, Silas, we got your letter. And then I actually picked the part I wanted to pick. It is just somebody from somewhere feeling like you can still be a Yoruba man. You can still think Yoruba first. You can still stand up for the Yoruba people, even if it is it's so kind of late for you to go back now. Well, I don't think it's going to listen. So forget that. So, ladies and gentlemen, now so we turn on our cameras. Turn our devices on because we wanted to see how is it going. You know, one thing is this: the dream of Tinubu.